Comes audio son. You burn the swine when no want you shine. The tree of life, them no want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Comes I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, read that.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you can even money, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. You can keep your conniving money when you've been knocked for a bum. In a bill, tell me money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full. In a bill, tell me money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a guild of piece. A 2 pound note and a guild of piece. A 2 pound note and a guild of piece. This is all the money that me walk for. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. Now I know what you can I be money. Oh, Joseph.
Well, I invoke the WPA's position that we are engaging in civil disobedience and non-cooperation with the government, and on that grounds I refuse to participate in the interview. The question in struggle, is not personal. Whatever sacrifice as a political activist or a political leader you have to make for your people, you have to make it.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Kams Tv, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, with Jah has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. Politicians. You are a part of the cycle. I say, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow Port People Governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show. do we see ourselves in the next 5, 10, and 15 years? And if anything we can look back on is the past 23 years, now 26 years of the racist mafia PPP. And if anyone in Guyana can tell me we have done better, they better have their head examined. And that's my take.
Thank you for your call. Morning, neighbor, morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kiraki Amsterdam, the Buxtonian. I'm in a good mood this morning. I don't like make promises I don't keep. So we're going to start with a promise that I made. And other promises. I made several promises for this week, so I intend to keep them. How y'all do? It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. How y'all feeling from yesterday? Y'all feeling good? Y'all make money? How many? Yeah. How many of you had cooler cards out there? How many of you had a cooler with water to sell yesterday when the protest was going on? Could I make a quick buck there, Remember, if you want to make that dollar, you have to start with a cent. Big businesses start a small business. Right? Evan Prasad morning. Evan Prasad tell us that Indo-Guyanese get big businesses because they start accumulating wealth from agriculture. Yeah. Cocaine comes from a plant. Hey. Cocaine comes from a plant. P-L-A-N-T. And the word could be used interchangeably in this instance. It came from a plant, as in an agricultural product, a plant. And it also comes from a plant, a place of manufacturing. I saw an Indo-Guyanese from, I think, Essequibo side, arrested with 13 pounds of cocaine, valued $10-point-something million. $10-point-something million, let's say $10.1 million, is reasonable capital to start a small or a big business. Right? Right, Ivan? Yeah, so my sources tell me that if you were to go to Blackbush Polar, they do a lot of farming up there, right? A lot of cash crop and so on. Check in between them tomato plants. Hey, well, I know. Do an investigation. Ask Kanu to give you the figures and tell you where the most ganja in this country has been seized. That seized a lot in Region 10 too. But go to Blackbush Polar. So yeah, a lot of capital is there to be acquired from agricultural use of the land. But it's all you're planting. Right? So I hope y'all made some legit money. Yes, Evan, cocoa is not grown in Guyana, but cocoa is part of the import-export business, the product of cocoa. That's a lot of them big businessmen who got import-export business. All of us import the thing in false-bottom containers and exporting false-bottom suitcases and agricultural produce again, you notice? Agricultural produce. Gale Barker, Awara, those kind of things, they're all agricultural produce. Right, Evan Prasad? Morning, I am Martin. Welcome to the program. It's Free Talk Friday, so I can allow myself to talk about these things on Fridays. It's Free Talk. Hey, somebody buy a beer. It's my birthday. It's my birth month. I've been celebrating all month. None of y'all didn't buy a beer for me yet. For the bodies here, I ain't drinking beer. Why Hennessy? Well, I know the PPP like give black people Hennessy and Ciroc. Top of the line drinkers, so we like. But are we making money? Are we making sense? Hope y'all make some money yesterday. I hope y'all stay healthy. I hope you stay rehydrated or hydrated. I hope you rested well last night. You had a pleasant night. And you are now waiting and you are raring to go. Right? Raring to go. Because I'm raring to go too. Yes, he's on, but I'm hot like hell. Why? You know why? Because I've been working. Yeah. Well, Jan Adams, you can tell him for yourself, you know, that the Indians don't do anything honestly, regardless of how straight up and how legit the operation looks. You said they always got another book. Hey, everyone Prasad is true by. I don't know, it's them says so, I didn't say so. I see somebody named Gray or somebody say they disagree with my position on the Blinken visit. Well, why not call us and share your opinion? The lines are open for you alone. 6225933 is the number to call. 6225933. Call the number and tell me why you disagree with my position on the Blinken visit. I maintain my position. The Blinken visit ain't gonna change nothing. Unless Guyanese are prepared to do what Guyanese have to do. It's as simple as that. Right? I saw a post from Blinken or his team or whatever saying that there's a photo and it said what? I visited with the opposition leader of Guyana, and I can't remember if it is creative is the word he used. Opposition is necessary or something to that extent. Where did I see it? I'm trying to remember where I saw it. But you know what? I can't agree more. Right? I certainly agree with the short statement there by Blinken. I'm trying to remember where I saw it. But don't worry yourself. If anybody comes across it, send it to me so I can really delve into it and share my understanding, my interpretation. I saw it. Where did I see it? I saw it. You know. Yes, he said I visited with the opposition leader, I met with the opposition leader of Guyana, and we had a good conversation, something to the extent, and whatever else, you know, whatever else. Somebody just sent me something from News Source saying that the PPP was blindsided by Blinken meeting with the opposition leader. I mean, they could say that, but I doubt it. I doubt it. There's something called protocol, you know. Right? And I was pointing that out yesterday. That first and foremost, the U.S. would take control of protocol for Blinken's visit. The U.S. Secretary of State, well, the fourth most powerful man in the U.S. government, perhaps. And so they will decide who he can meet with, when he can meet with them, and so on and so forth. Good? But since the Guyanese authority, the Guyana police force, must have a role to play in the provision of security for any visiting head of state or any visiting member of government. They must have known. I am saying that they must have known that Aubrey Norton was going to meet with Blinken at some point in time. I don't care what I say. Maybe they don't know the details, but they knew. Right? Good. Why are we talking? It's Free Talk Friday. I still waiting for Gray to call me and let's chat on this thing. Why you disagree with my position on the Blinken visit? Why would you do that? Let's talk about it. Right? So that statement was made. I'm hoping I will keep looking for the statement so that I can see it. I saw it first thing I got up this morning. I can't remember from where though. But it's interesting to note, and that is why I want to see it, because the particular word that was used, is it creative opposition? Is that what he said? Did he say creative opposition? Is that what he said? I'm checking the Mirror with her coat. Alright, don't bother yourself, man. We're going to talk about it. But what are we tracking this morning? What should we be talking about this morning? I did say yesterday morning, I'm going to open up the lines to you early today, so you can have all your say, because yesterday was truncated and so on. So the lines are open. 622-5933 is the number to call. Call and let's talk the thing. Who's going to take the first shot of the phone? A man named Imran Khan was fatally shot in Campbellville last night. Who is Imran Khan? Who is Imran Khan? That's for news purposes. Imran Khan is a man who had assaulted Benjai. Remember, Benjai had come to Guyana and was, I think, performing, or he had done a performance, and then he was at the place, the nasty place on Main Street there. The place that was owned by the Rahmans. I don't know how the place name. Where Portuguese man spot on a black man. Where the place name? It's opposite Middle Street almost. Bill and me, y'all know the place, man, with name. This morning I'm getting brain blocked. Whatever name, man, y'all know the place. It's a popular drinking spot. All them rich people that's got there. What the place name? The last I know, it was bought over by no, not Palm Court, man, PC. Yeah, Nigel Price, thanks. Yeah, so Imran Khan was a man who assaulted. I think he had caused Benjai to be gashed or something. And that matter was in court, and I think it was eventually thrown out. But he was murdered last night. Fatally shot. Karma, let me tell you something. Well, Stanborn is saying it's his brother who got shot. But I'm reading that it's Imran Khan who got shot, and Imran Khan was the man who assaulted. I don't know, you know. Everybody got access to different information. I'm quoting from the news. News source, I think, is giving me that information. Right? But somebody got shot. And they got the same blood of the person that assaulted Benjai. It might be surprising to know. It's just a theory, right? It might be surprising to know that, as they say, the roosters are coming home to roost. Or the chickens are coming home to roost. Right? Because at the end of the day, when you do the wrong things to people, let's come looking for you sometimes. It might not be when you expect them to come, but they do come. Right? And they say revenge is better served cold. Because when you think it's peace and safety, it's a sudden destruction. And that reminds me that I got a song to play for y'all. Here is the thing about Anthony Blinken, Secretary Official. While visiting Georgetown, I met with Guyanese opposition leader Aubrey Norton and learned about his vision for Guyana. Constructive opposition is essential to a vibrant and stable democracy. Constructive opposition is essential to a vibrant and stable democracy. Are we being constructive in the opposition? That's the question to ask. Right? But let me play this tune for you right now.
Watch the places you walk in, mind the way you talk, the way you sneaking under man feet. A revelation time, check the signs of the time. You're not in the heat. And you saw the youth, they let go out the street, and you know, say things now go sweet. And a hustle and a shuffle, hungry belly, they are yard, can't find food to eat. Danger and rain, where they all a look down on a sea bread. And you're an you dead. Whoa, it's dead. Danger and rain, where they all a stick on a sea bread. And you're an you dead. It don't even make no sense to tell the man them pull down the gun. I can't turn your back on it, a life gone down. These are the time we should have some fun. Give thanks to Jack as the man soon come. It don't make no sense to tell the man them let the politics. I can't turn your back on it, a man get tricked. Mama, that's around red. When you all a look down on a TV, I hear next you dead. Whoa. Vampire who will sneak up in the dark, Watch out for the big time crook who claim say that them smart. But I bring in the crack and the gun to come and shove the youth them hard. Let's around red, when you all a look down on that TV. And you're an ex you dead.
You gotta watch the places you go to and the people you interfere with. Because if you don't, sometimes the chicken will come home to roost. I was just doing a little research here and I realized that the name Imran Khan has shown up in so many badness, if I can call it that. I saw an article there of Imran Khan charged for attempting to board a short bus, a man with disability, and so on and so forth. Nevertheless, the lines are home, the lines remain home. Nobody calling one. You all want to talk today? It's Free Talk Friday. Let's talk. What you know, these press conferences after a visit by a visiting dignitary, usually they're so cryptic, you got to really read in between the lines and so on. What did you make of the press conference yesterday following the meeting between Blinken and the fat guy? What do you make of the press conference? Call you live, good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Well, the song you played there, I hope it's not really a tribute to the deceased person. Anyway, as you rightly said, the pigeons are coming home to roost. And you mentioned about this person who was talking about small business. Can you remember a young person in the installed regime who had a bank account of about $2 billion and he used to sell phone cards? Then you had another small business owner that of Multiplex on Regent Street. He started by selling onions and garlic. So if you start your business small and you move to the right areas, within a matter of months, you will have a big business. Well, I want the type of business because when you see you found one thing for the payments of those business, your end don't be nice. And you always got to live with your back, your face behind your back, because you always have to be looking over your shoulder. Now with this visit, we do not know what it augurs to Guyana. We don't know. Because when Pompeo came, regime change. So you don't know if this is a regime change that is taking root in Guyana. Then the last thing, the famous story that is trying to be swept under. I would like to make a comment, and I hope people don't jump on me. In this country, those girls that were subjected to the wrath of the rapists were underage girls. And I think it's time that we move to have a law where we stop allowing our underage girls below the age of 18 to be involved in beauty queen contests. Because when you put them out in the contest, they don't have a barrier with the type of clothing. They don't say, well, oh, let the girls wear like a school wear, an evening wear that is not revealing, and another wear. They put them in the beach wear that is very revealing. The gowns that they parade in the last walk around the stage is another revealing gown. And when you got predators, known or unknown, they go to places like these to seek out and groom and prepare their prey for the table at a later date. So I hope that they could move against us. When you want to be a beauty queen, let you be 18 and over. So that when you ain't saying this must happen to all beauty queens, they wouldn't have this lapse in judgment to say age of consent and so. Let the children and parents out there, you might hate me now, but in the long run, you might say this woman will like tap all around the place as give a good warning to all would-be parents. Let your children be inside. In the outer world, if you go and you take out a picture with your child's genitalia exposed, they come down on you and they charge you for trafficking in children. That is a law against you taking out your children naked skin. And we must move to protect our little girl children, because the girl said he would assist her to win this beauty queen contest. So just take it in stride. So there are other activities that your children could go to. There are other clean activities, like debates and different things. You could get them in drama, not revealing. Because I run a concert and I am putting nobody, children out there naked. Last year, I had a problem with some little girls who wanted revealing clothes to show off. They just started getting breasts. And I told them there was a no-no. And what they did to me, they did not do anything for my show. I didn't care. But I don't want to be the person who cause people, young girl children, to be preyed upon and end up like what happened to that little girl. So that is my tidbit. Happy birthday.
Run this fit out Friday every gaff. Don't go nowhere yet. Why should I want my child of all right to partake in social events? Because there are predators out there.
No, he didn't listen to me, Kadaki.
I listened to you. I'm asking your question. I listened to you. I listened to you. Don't tell me I didn't listen to you. I listened to you.
Okay.
Because there are predators out there. I must not allow my child to partake in a beauty pageant if she has an interest in pageantry, or if we know, for example, she can win pageantry.
Kadaki. But the children partaking in that, they have certain things they do. Beach wear, done. Why, like me, if I was to allow my child that is underage to be a part of a pageant, the part where revealing that child's body after what happened to these children would have been a no-no. And I, as a parent, would not have allowed my child to go on a beauty pageant. You know what it's saying, medicine? You got preventative medicine.
So,
you attack a thing before it happens.
So in short,
if you see after what has happened to that girl, and the starting of her woes was being in that beauty pageant. Well, let me tell you, Kadaki, before me going to the falls and fall over Kaichor and then look for somebody to rescue me, and if I got to Kaichors, I gonna stay far from the fall over pipe. Coming guy know for there. So it is up to parents. But my views will not be for everybody. But I know, had I still being with young children, because my children are grown, and a thing like a beauty pageant to come up, and they said to me, well, look, mommy or Rhonda, I want to attend. The answer to that child, I don't care if in the long run they would have hate me, would have been the big word, the big two-letter word, no. Me want go down the road. But you see a daytime kite, Kadaki, not take 5 out for look for my night.
Thank you, Rondo.
Bye-bye.
All right, good. I don't know if y'all heard it, but I heard maybe what I wanted to hear. You can't call for a national ban on pageantry for minors because they are pedophiles in the society. You can't. What you can do, however, is call for more draconian laws against pedophilia. Because pageantry is not illegal, pedophilia is illegal. You can call for more draconian laws against pedophilia. And you can demand that the system works when it comes to pedophilia and rape and other sexual abuse crimes. But one of the things Rhonda said in the last aspect of her discourse is important. And it comes down to me, the parental responsibility. What will I allow my child to do? My child can partake in pageantry, but I can determine what is suitable wear for my child in pageantry. It is not every evening gown that has to be semi-nude or nude. It is not every swimsuit, swimwear that has to be semi-nude or nude. Right? So parents have a big part to play in what their children wear to go on stage in these pageants. I'm of that firm opinion. But a lot of people allow their children or allow the organizers of these events to get full reign with their children. And organizers recognizing that we live in a society, we live in a time where sex sells, just like the businessmen who have their staff going to work in the skimpiest of clothing because sex sells. That is what the organizers of these pageants do. But if every parent should take their responsibility seriously and say, my child will not go on stage and that, then the organizers will find that they have to adjust their methods, or they will have nobody to partake in their pageants. That's just my opinion, right? We're having a free talk today. Call A Live, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, everyone in the diaspora. Good morning, all Guyanese. And good morning to Sister Rhonda. I like what she said. You know, she wouldn't go to the edge of kite shore because the possibility that we might fall over. Mr. Kadaki, in that conversation, you just raised a very poignant question about what should parents or why are parents allowing the allowance of parents to allow their children to partake in these lewd pageantries. Now, that raised an idea in my head that if we can exercise choice of whether or not we should allow, what sort of allowance should we participate in when it comes to allowing the PPP to do what they're doing? Because it's all allowance we're talking about. We can allow our children, or we can disallow them, or not allow them. And we can allow politicians to be accountable or to get away with zero accountability or minuscule accountability. So dealing with the visit yesterday, in the meeting, Irfan Ali talked about the rule of law and democracy. In one of the questions he was answering, he said, the rule of law and democracy has to take some time. And I said, really? It has to take some time? Now, we understand that everything has to mature. But if you read on the Constitution that it says all Guyanese are to be treated equally under equal protection of the law, how long does that have to take? The PPP were in government for 23 years. So my question is, Irfan Ali is saying the rule of law has to take some time. I thought that was a nonsensical response. I thought it was the most idiotic and dunce response to give, being that you've been sitting in government for the last 57 years. How long does it take to comply with constitutional compliance? How long? Then he went on to talk about, then they talked about transparency. The Secretary of State said he is just following up on a conversation him and Irfan Ali had in the United States last July on issues of transparency. I don't see much transparency happening with regards to the PPP's behavior. I don't see much accountability happening. But these are things that the Secretary of State talked about yesterday. So I don't really see any progress. And this is why I'm going to say this, that regardless of what the State Department does, and they better do something fast, we're going to hold this Guyanese government accountable. And it might come to more than just peaceful protests. I could predict that the way the PPP has been going is going to come to more than just peaceful protests. And I advise Blinken that he better get the PPP in line, or we're going to get them in line. And we're going to use whatever force it is necessary to get the PPP in line. And they could count the last dollar on that. They could bet the last dollar on that. Now, I must congratulate Red Thread. I saw a sister up there, I thought it was Dr. something. She was making some very good points. I must congratulate Simona Brooms and all the women who were out there standing up for this Amerindian girl. I must commend Mr. Paul Slope because he picked up on an idea. He says he called on Amanza, he called on Roysdale Ford, he called on many of these lawyers not to let up on this matter with Damlal. So while we are busy complimenting or seeking interest in the Secretary of State, he is already come and he's gone. we have still got to deal with our responsibilities as Guyanese. And I am all for the narrative that we can use the courts, that we use protest, and we can use all the other things, including prayer. But remember, right now in Ukraine, the Secretary of State is giving the Ukrainians weapons to remove illegitimacy. If you go on YouTube and you follow this same Secretary of State, it's on YouTube. Check his visit to the Middle East. Check his visit to Israel and Saudi Arabia and all these other countries. Listen to what he's saying. He's doing a lot of double talking. So he tells them one thing, that they should fight in Ukraine. Look at how much billions of dollars they give Ukraine. Then he comes to Guyana and double talks here because he don't see no reason why we in the opposition should fight. We have got just as bad political crises in Guyana as they got in Ukraine. Look at the situation in Haiti. He spoke about Haiti quite a bit. Haiti is as a result of America's interference. Now they want to put CARICOM to handle their problem that they created over there. You notice that maneuvering? They want to put CARICOM in a mix with Haiti. So then we end up going over there, getting in a cultural problem with the Haitians, in a problem that we never started. So we must get sucked into that. And that will probably have spin-off effects for CARICOM. It is already having spin-off effects for us in CARICOM. So we've got to be very careful. Because I noticed Irfan Ali running his level lip, talking about, we're going to be involved and we're going to try to settle the situation in Haiti. That's not our problem in Haiti. We didn't create that problem. We would like to solve it. How come he wasn't so helpful to allow the Haitians to come to Guyana? So basically, we're just assessing the overall conversation that happened. Comrade Norton said that he presented his portfolio and he presented the issues, the popular issues on election and biometrics. And it's good. I'm glad to hear Comrade Norton put forward that. I would hopefully that Comrade Norton at some point in time would see it appropriate to come and have a sit down on one of these shows and give us some sort of a feel of what was discussed there, because he's working in our interest. I noticed that Adam Harris wasn't invited, and Dennis Chabral wasn't invited. Travis Chase and Gordon Mosley weren't invited to ask any questions. I don't even know if they were in the crowd. How could that be so? Well, of course, the PPP, I guess they're running the show. So they only allowed 2 questions. Two silly questions on nothing, about nothing. And then allow an American guy to come and ask 2 more questions about nothing. Nobody asks anything on the rule of law. Maybe I didn't hear it. But the most important question concerning the subject matter of the rule of law and the insufficiency of the non-compliance to the rule of law, we heard nothing about that. But we heard Blinken talking about accountability and transparency. Once again, thank you for listening.
Coffee.
Yes, sir.
Before you leave, your interpretation of Ali saying you will, my use of words loosely, intervene to fix the Haitian situation, is that we're talking about the big national situation in Haiti in terms of the chaos and whatever the word I just slipped me that's taking place there, or is it the visa requirement and the prevention of Haitians from coming to or passing through Guyana? Just a thought. You don't need to answer.
Okay. Yes, but I it's just a thought. We have. Let me say that the Deputy Secretary of State, who was the African American guy that accompanied Blinken, he was the guy leading up the negotiations for an international intervention, military intervention into Haiti. That same black guy that came along with him. At least I saw him in Trinidad, the African-American guy. Look, here's how I answer that question. Let me give you my insight on that. The purpose for the Treaty of Chagaramas is to address our crisis post-colonialism. Our crisis post-colonialism here in CARICOM. And we have got to, so we decided to bring Haiti into our circle of Chagaramas. We can't lose sight of that. I think Haitians have as much right to travel within CARICOM as anyone else because they are our CSME brother, free movement brother and sister in the whole idea of Chagaramas. Right? And the European Union, they have free movement. United States have free movement within the United States. So I don't see how it is that we can hinder Haitians from traveling here. Obviously, it has some political ramifications, but that's irregardless of the point. Yes, sir.
We know that. That's a given. That's a known. The specific question was, and I said already, you don't have to answer.
Yes, I know I don't have to. Yes.
Do you believe the reference to fixing the Haitian situation had to do with Haiti's current state of anarchy, or it has to do with the restrictions the current PPP administration has put on the free movement of Haitians?
That's a loaded question.
It's not loaded. I haven't loaded it. It's loaded with nothing. Anyways.
Yeah, because a question deserves a response if I'm not, falling into any trap. So it's free talk. So I'm okay. Look, Haiti, first of all, Haiti is a geopolitical problem. America wanted Haiti to counterbalance Cuba from the Cold War. So Haiti's situation has a geopolitical backdrop to it. It ain't just immigration. So that's why I said yes and no. The new face of Haiti's crisis is what we're seeing. It's its new face. But its new face is as a result of old interference because of our geopolitical position. As was Dominican Republic, as was Puerto Rico. So that's why I say yes or no.
Thank you, Coffee.
But, okay, once again, thank you for posing those questions. Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Let me, I usually give my opinion when we're having these discussions. I do not believe that the U.S. wants Haiti to become a normal country. I don't believe they want the situation rectified. How will it benefit? Call on the line. How will it benefit the U.S. if Haiti is a stable country? When the arguments over the years historically is that the U.S. destabilize Haiti so that they can get access to the resources and wealth and whatever else they possess. And since I don't believe that they would like the state of anarchy in Haiti to really be rectified so that you have a normal functioning democracy in Haiti, it's my belief that the references to the Haitian situation might very well be the restrictions that this government has placed on the travel of Haitians. So let's watch and see if they're going to reverse that position. Right? Because like Kofi said, and we all know, Haiti as a part of CARICOM is entitled to free movements of its citizens. Let's see how that goes. Those are just my thoughts. And we're having a discourse, so you can call me and tell me where Mr. Amsterdam. We think you missed the bus. Call A Live, good morning.
Morning, Kadakian, morning, Guyana. Just touching a couple of points here. On the Haiti situation, it is my opinion that a Marshall Plan should have been initiated a long time ago. A Marshall Plan like what they did in Japan and Germany. If we really want to see Haiti be a stable country, it can be done. But for lots of reasons, they've decided not to. It's a perpetual state of anarchy, and basically the United States have allowed, along with France and all the superpowers, have allowed it to take place. Just look at what's happening in Cuba, where the United States got a 50-something years embargo on Cuba. I mean, that's a bunch of bull when you look at they trade with communist China, Russia, and do other things. So, I mean, that situation in Cuba and in Haiti can be remedied, but we simply refuse to do it. Now, going back to Guyana, didn't listen to press conference or anything like that. I can't stomach to hear an uneducated fool that you guys have for a president and Jack. I don't know. I just can't stomach watching or hearing these people. But based on your conversation, Fraudulent said he's going to work to fix it. Hell, they can't even fix what's happening in Guyana. You're going to work to fix what's happening in Haiti? That's a bunch of bull. Great comment from Rhonda, and she is, in my opinion, Guyana woman king. Great comments from Coffee too as well. But coming back to Guyana, I thought it was a decent showing in reference to protesting and stuff like that. But the Guyanese people, to me, it got to be more. You've got to come up with different things to stop how these vehicles just flew past. I doubt whether Blinken even raised his head and can see what was actually some of these placards. So we've got to come up with better stuff. Now, when it comes to Mr. Norton, it was basically, to me, just a photo op, because it is stating that he was only in Guyana for 4 hours. What the hell can you talk in 4 hours about your plight? I don't see a whole bunch. So unless, again, it is up to the people in Guyana, in my opinion, that have to rise up and stay risen up to get rid of this racist mafia PPP. So here's this young lady who's been brutally sexually assaulted and all. Okay, he stepped down, and so is that it? He must be held accountable for his actions, and I don't mean held accountable in the public opinion. Other things need to be done to that monster, and that's my take.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain on. I have a voice note.
Good morning, Kadaki. Now, I heard Mark Benshaff was criticizing the meeting with U.S. Secretary General and Norton concerning the one-on-one meeting. What he was saying that at least they should have some MPs in there. I am saying no.
Call all the line.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Number one, the reason
why Call hold the line.
Choose to reach Norton there at the embassy. Norton is the opposition, do not have no army, do not have the police on his side, do not have security to, to secure Blinken's in that building that they have there. Number one. Number two, who knows if Blinken told Norton, listen, next 2 years you guys are inside there, okay? And you don't want nobody else to hear anything, because these MPs, since something's said, they're all guarded. You understand me? When Blinken leave that office, you know that it's Norton alone talk to and talk with. And in spite Norton meeting was shorter than Infernali, the government, Norton, who knows Norton meeting was more fruitful and Norton is more comfortable what he heard. So nobody knows what Blinken and why Blinken choose not to have no one else in there with Norton. So that is my take today. Bye.
Thank you for that voice note. Caller, your life.
Yeah, good morning, Miss. Good morning to all the viewers and we in the diaspora. My contribution this morning is that why that fat guy is reluctant to put his foot down on Darmalal. It just gives me a feeling that he is a part and parcel of what used to go on in these places. I won't erase that because there is slackness to the highest power. He had to be part and parcel of what going on. He indulge himself in that. He drop in there sometime and have fun also. And too much of damn slackness is going on in our country. And to that witch at the DPP, she had better get her act together. She better get her act together because things are happening in the twinkle of her eyes. They believe that Guyana is theirs. It's not theirs. And Guyanese need to know that the money, the wealth that is there in our country is all of us own. And not Barrett and the PPP own. Not them own. That is what a lot of people fail to realize. That is not theirs. And we must get equitable amount. All the 250 and the 300 grand and million what they're sharing out, bust it down in the middle. Because things could be heading to a dangerous point. We need to get the act together. And last but not least, for the women them in Guyana that is protesting, kudos to them, especially Simona Brooms. Kudos to these women. And the men, we men need to do more. Get off we butt. Some we walk in the road with pants down, like we want something behind we. Get off we butt and get out there. We sit down and depend on the women too much. That is my contribution.
Thank you. Let me say this. In reference to the call who said Mark Benchcop was criticizing Norton last night, I don't criticize my fellow social media influencers as they start to call us. But I don't know when Mark call only line. But I don't know when Mark is not criticizing Norton. Right? Some people, once they had one problem with you, they will forever have a problem with you. And that's my opinion, that Norton can't do anything right where Mark is concerned. Why a one-on-one meeting with Blinken and Norton? I think in many instances, we need more one-on-one meetings with our leaders and international leaders, especially given the chaos that the PNC is in. The PNC got 3 factions at least. How Norton is to know that the people he's going to take to that meeting are necessarily in his faction and will be able to hold a secret. That's a high-level meeting, like it or not. In terms of the time spent at the meeting, a lot of people believe that it's always about time. It's not about time, it's about quality of engagement. Norton knew Blinken was coming. Did he prepare a dossier and say he just went, he had brief conversations and say, here is the evidence. Interrogate it at your own time. We don't have to spend 10 hours to let people understand what's happening in this country. We just have to prepare a brief. That's what it's called, a brief. And as a man in the international relations field, Norton should very well have understood that. So I am not going to waste time trying to understand what took place in that 15-20 minutes meeting, whatever it was. But I certainly believe that maybe one-on-one was warranted in this instance. We know that Northeast swimming in a treacherous sea. Call you live, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Kadaki, and to all your viewers. I would just want to get over to my Guyanese brothers and sisters. I want them to understand. From this seeing this visit that take place with Blinken, it is simply telling us as a people that we have to stand up because this country is ours. Don't let us look for no international body to come and help us when we are sitting down on our butt and don't mean to help ourselves. Now, Blinken only come here in Guyana because of U.S. interests. So there's no looking out for the Guyanese people. And if Blinken could not have made a statement on nothing that take place in this country, it is showing us that what was happening hundreds of years, the oppression of black people, that Blinken is happy about that because his ancestors are the people who was enslaved in black. So when he's seeing it, he feel proud about that. Because he could not have said anything but what is taking place. But when the former fellow was here, he could have spoken on our election, which he had no right to. But now Blinken come, and he can't speak on anything. So, my people, rise up. Open your eyes. It is just keeping us apart. As long as we keep fighting as a nation, we will benefit nothing. And the parties that are in power is embedded in keeping us apart, to tell us we're Indian and black. So we must keep fighting. And while we fight, the white oppressors, those demons, would keep oppressing our country. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Call you live, good morning. Call you live, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters. This is Flash Garden. I'm going to shape gear this morning because it's time for black people know every quarter's cry for their own calf. As the Carter said, that man only come to protect the American interests. So I ain't playing that no mind. I'm going to talk about this morning about poverty because Arby Norton start talking about poverty. And poverty does take money, good jobs, good health care, and good education. And when the government change between double pay and PNC come together and put these people out of office, the next month, what both parties have to do at coalition, every senior citizen in Guyana must get $60,000 pension if we're talking about poverty. And every black senior citizen, every January, they must get $100,000. That's from the oil money. That's from our foreparents who were slaves. If we're talking about poverty, public workers' salary must raise at least 35% when you take office. If we're talking about poverty, and this month salary must knock out all Guyanese, especially public government workers. They must receive pay every 2 weeks, not no month. You work 1 month, you have to wait 2-3 months. No, knock it out. Guyanese are sitting in the front row with all the big boss oil company. We must uplift our standard of living. No more monthly pay every 2 weeks. If we're talking about poverty, all police officers, army, men and women, GRA, and immigration officer must carry guns 24 hours. Guyana is the only country, only couple these people them carry guns. Nonsense. That must knock out. We have to uplift our standard of living and move up to the ladder. All black Guyanese, every January must receive $1 million so we could start business from now. It is not too late to do the right thing. And all household every July must receive $250,000. If we're talking about poverty and want to be independent and want to get out of poverty, it's called for money. Them two airports must be changed when the government change. Oval Airport must be Walter Rodney International Airport. Timeri Airport must be Lyndon, must be Forbes Borden International Airport. If we talk about poverty and show them, because the law said in Parliament, what are you doing for our people? We're going to show them what we will do for everybody and our people too. The government, when it change, must give them athletes, those who in sports, maintain them so Flash Garden could sit down anywhere and see my country flag flying and see my Guyanese brother and sister in every sports. If we're talking about poverty. Now before I go, we go show them what 50,000 jobs. We go bring back 3 airplanes for Guyana with all money and create jobs. 1 plane for the Caribbean, 1 plane for Canada and England, and 1 for America. Because Guyanese travel every second, every day, every week, every month. We go provide a job there. We go show them provide jobs again.
Well, I invoke the WPA's position that we are engaging in civil disobedience and non-cooperation with the government, and on that grounds I refuse to participate in the interview. The question in struggle, is not personal. Whatever sacrifice as a political activist or a political leader you have to make for your people, you have to make it.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Kams TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politicians, they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the tea for repeat. Guyanese Morning Time, the people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow Port People Governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Kams audio son. You burn this swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Kams I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, read that. Kams audio son. You burn this swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Kams I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, read that.
Never joke, never joke, never joke.
Sorry about that. Yes, these things happen. Good morning, welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time hosted by the Buxtonian Kidaki Amsterdam. It is now 7 hours 31 on the 10th day of July in the year 2023 that is. Welcome to the program. Why am I going back? Am I afraid of being 50? Hey, it would seem so. Because in 10 days, in 2 days time I will be right there. That's the golden jubilee for me. I'm drinking beers now. And wine. Abigail, John. We're going on with GT wine. Nothing happening, nothing coming across the side. What's wrong with you, girl? I hope you got some strokers. Because we would need some strokers to the dinner and dance. Yes, we could use local wines only, you know. We want some strokers on the table sitting and dance. So, Abigail, I hope you got strokers. Start preparing yourself. Yeah, Wednesday the children will come and they will have a nice time. I hope that they will enjoy the movies and trampoline and seesaw and all the fun that we have for them and so on. And thing. I'm really hoping to make it an exceptional day for them. Even as I celebrate quietly, I usually celebrate quietly. On that particular day, I just like to sit and watch people have fun. Children especially. I always try to find the time to, spend my birthday doing something different for the children. Right? So I do hope that Wednesday is going to be as magnificent as I would like it to be. I'm still working the plans. I'm still working the plans. But yeah, Wednesday would be that day. In the meantime, between time, I hope that lots of you are planning to come and bring the children on Wednesday. And then, of course, on Saturday, we big people will have our throwdown. 3-course dinner and dance at Club Twilight. That's, I hope we can have a grand get-together. Let's keep Brother Albert Morgan in our prayers. Albert goes to court on that very day, the 12th of July. The PPP, a mad mess. They arrested Albert and charged him for something in relation to cybercrime against the state. And then he's out on bond, bail, police station bail as we see. And from the day he was bailed, almost every other day the police is there trying to harass him. Yesterday they turned up at his house. They want him at the station. Right? According to him, the police constable, I think, told him he doesn't have to tell him why he is wanted at the station. He has an ongoing matter. Ongoing matter for which he's on bail. So if you want me at the station, tell me why you want me at the station, or I'm coming, no way. Good, so let's keep Albert in our prayers and hope that everything works out. You know, we live in a society where people don't have freedom of speech. We live in a society where people can't express themselves. As soon as you say something that is contrary to what the hooligans in government think, they try to harass you and put you before the courts and all of that. Guyanese have to stand up if Guyanese want democracy. Good? It's as simple as that. Let me not forget, because I just remembered that the common entrance results are out. The National Grade 6 examination results are out. Congratulations to all of you. Every single one of you who took the National Grade 6 examination. Let me tell you something if you're listening, and let me tell parents something if they're listening. Just taking the examination is an achievement. There are many children, not only in Guyana but around the world, who do not stay in school long enough to even take that examination. And so congratulations to those children who took the National Grade 6 examination. And they are going on to secondary school. They're going to another level of their education. Remember, it's not where they started. It is where they end. Where they intend to end. What is their goals? What are their goals? What is the end game they're working towards? You as parents, many of us like to live our lives, what's the word, vicariously? Through our children. We were not great achievers. And so we pray for the day when our children is going to achieve greatly and make us proud or prouder in our society, give us bragging rights among the neighbors and so on. Right? But I say, go don't make sheep, and the fruit don't far from the tree. So if you didn't achieve much, why you want to chastise a child if you believe that he did not achieve as much as you wanted him to achieve, or her? Right? Let's keep that in mind. We have to be fair to our children. They are their own individuals. How we nurture them, how we socialize them will make a difference in their lives. But at the end of the day, let us not chastise them for not reaching the goals that we set for them. What we have to do is help them to set goals, so they know the goals that they're working toward, and they know that they have your support working toward those goals. And we're likely to see better results than when we set in our mind that, hey, this child must, help the country and so on. When we know very well that it really doesn't run in the blood. It's not necessarily a bloodline thing, though. Sometimes it comes down to dedication and support and so on. So wherever your child is placed this morning, as a result of the National Grade 6 examination, my encouragement is that you support that child. Continue to encourage and support that child. Speak positive words. Oh, you make she beat you? No. They are all individuals. Speak positive words to that child. And encourage them that they can achieve more. Some of our children are late starters. Right? By second form, you might be surprised to see how your child gallops way ahead of the others who were ahead. Right? So, hold the faith, work with your children, encourage them. That's all I want to tell you for now. I have a different structure in mind. This program is a year old or so now. Well, not a year. We are approaching another year. We're at another year's anniversary. So we're into year 3 or year 4? Year 3, I think. Yes, year 3. And so it's always got to switch up the things sometimes. Right? So this morning I am going to do a hybrid. I want to... Where's the phone? I want to open the lines early. But the question I want us to discuss when the lines are opened are the benefits of... Well, there's several things on my mind. Let me say, starting last Friday, a caller mentioned all the things that he believes that the new government should do for Guyanese, giving them money monthly and so on. That $1 million thing. And I didn't mention to you that the Working People's Alliance has always been favorable to giving Guyanese approximately $1 million monthly from their oil income. Even if it starts gradually at a small amount and gets up to $1 million monthly. And definitely the universal basic income. So I want us to talk about those things. How do you feel about the universal basic income being introduced to Ghana? And how do you feel about the WPA's proposal to give every household $1 million from the oil income? Those are two of the things we will talk about. The other thing I want us to talk about is BRICS, BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and now South Africa. Let us talk about BRICS versus the G7. I know there are lots of you following that kind of discussion out there. So let's talk about BRICS versus the G7. What are the upsides of BRICS? And what are the downsides? And where should Guyana be? Should Guyana join BRICS or should Guyana stick with the G7? Those are some of the things I want us to talk about this morning. So the lines are open. 622-5933 is the number to call. If you call it, I might find it. I don't know. I don't know exactly where it is right now. Right? So call 622-5933 and let's talk about that.
Well, I invoke the WPA's position that we are engaging in civil disobedience and non-cooperation with the government. And on that grounds, I refuse to participate in the interview. The question in struggle, is not personal. Whatever sacrifice as a political activist or a political leader you have to make for your people, you have to make it.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Kams TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. There's one set of people getting oil money. There's one set of people doing the tea for repeat. Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see. Sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sons.
What is it? Are you people afraid of this discussion, or none of you know what I'm really talking about? Right? So let's talk. BRICS, like I said, is that economic union, I want to call it. It's an economic union between Brazil, or among Brazil, Russia, India, China, BRIC, and of recent South Africa, BRICS, BRICS. Now, of course, you know the Economic Union. They prior to BRICS, it was the G7 or the G8 nations, the most powerful economic nations in the world. Of recent, I learned that currently BRICS has overtaken the G7, G8 in terms of that economic strength. Right, BRICS I think currently control in excess of 30% of the world economy, whereas the G7, G8 they control just about 30% or less. So one would believe, looking at things, is that BRICS is on the uprise. It's becoming more dominant as against the G7, and so they are losing what one would call is the whole position of being the economic giants who control what the world does and how the world does it. But in the midst of that is the United States. Right? The United States, which many people say when the US sneezes, a whole lot of other countries, including Guyana, will catch a cold, because the US has its hand in basically everybody's economy, everybody's politics, everybody's existence. Is the US supportive of BRICS? Is it a part of BRICS? No, it's not a part of BRICS. BRICS is a competitor to the regime that the US is involved in. How will the policies of BRICS, trade policies of BRICS, affect those of the US and the G7? And so when we see Biden coming down here the other day, did I say Biden? Blinken? Right? When Blinken came down here the other day, a lot of people said Blinken is not here to talk about Guyana politics. He's here to talk about the US interests. And what are the US interests? To prevent Guyana, or to minimize the possibility of Guyana allowing countries like Russia and China, especially, a foothold that is greater than the US's in Guyana. I think I would have mentioned to you previously the Safe City project, which was previously supposed to be funded by the US, if I remember clearly. And that funding was withdrawn because Guyana insisted on going with Chinese technology, Huawei. Good? If you remember the fallout between Guyana moving to open or allow Taiwan, if I remember clearly, to open an embassy here, as against the wishes of the US, against the wishes of China. I understand it was the US's encouragement, but it was part of an agreement with the US and Ghana, that they recognized Taiwan and allowed them to open the embassy. That let a fallout, or near fallout, we don't know how severe it has been with the Chinese government. We know that the Chinese, through their what we call the thing, by Bridges and Roads project, I think, is willing to and have been pouring a lot of money into countries like Guyana to have a foothold, a major foothold. And the US has been resistant to that. And so when you see an economic bloc as in BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and Guyana is leaning towards them, obviously the US is going to become concerned and is going to, in my mind, flex its muscle, whether economic or political, whichever muscle. It is argued that, well, it's a known fact by now, as a matter of fact, in my mind, that the US, through Donald Trump presidency and Pompeo as Secretary of State, was integral in the installation of the PPP, the regime change which took place in 2020. We don't know what the undertakings were, what the promises were, what was placed on the table. But certainly the PPP has a debt or several debts to repay to the US for their day in government. And so since the PPP, it would appear on the what's the word I'm looking for? On the surface, it would appear on the surface that the PPP is not playing fair or keeping with these agreements. Because as I'm talking about BRICS and G7, you recognize recently by Jack Gill saying that, listen, Guyana is not going to, or my government, the PPP, is not going to allow Guyana to join OPEC. Because OPEC is likely to exert its control on oil prices and so on, and we want to have the freedom to maximize our profits on our oil. So to trade that oil outside of OPEC countries, who will they trade with? Likely the BRICS bloc, right? And so the US, the US and oil energy, right, or fossil energy, they use a whole lot of that. Good, it's critical to their survival and economic survival and manufacturing and all these kind of things. So from that standpoint, is the US likely to sit idly by and allow Jack Dio and Irfan and the rest of the PPP to do as they like and join BRICS? Allow them to do as they like and be free agents when it comes to the sale and distribution of crude oil from the EXXON blocks? Or are they likely to step in and say to the PPP, you need to toe the line, this is where we would like to see you, otherwise you might be victims of another regime change? So the other question I want to ask you is it possible that the US is working on removing the PPP? Will the PPP allow that? Will the PPP accept that? Or will the PPP will change course to suit the demands of the US? And while we're considering that, is that why Jack Gill said he wants to work with the opposition? Is that why the PPP is troubled right now? Because Blinken came and he met with the PPP government representative Ali, and then clandestinely, because they weren't aware of it, he met with leader of the opposition, Norton. Is that worrying to the PPP because of this clandestine meeting with Norton? A meeting they didn't have any prior knowledge of, and a meeting that took place, and they are still, as we like to say in Guyana, out, like fish out of water, trying to get information as to what was discussed at this meeting. What did these two gentlemen speak about? At these meetings? Why weren't we in loop? Why weren't we informed of this meeting? Why didn't we have the intelligence on this meeting? Those are some of the things I want us to talk about. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. Talk to me. It's 8 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. It's not far from the time you would normally call, so I'm waiting for your calls and voice notes. Let's talk. Should the PPP be worried? Is the PPP worried? Y'all not talking to me. Hello? Call it live, good morning. Call it live, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. First of all, I want to congratulate you on your. First of all, I want to congratulate you.
Caller, you have to talk with me on the phone and don't listen to what is happening in the background.
Yes. 1 minute, 1 minute, please.
Caller, you have to talk with me on the phone and don't listen to what.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Yes,
Hello?
I'm listening.
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your anniversary. Because when you first started the program, I'm one of the person who believe that this program will get better and better by the day, by the hour, and by the years. Secondly, Barra Jagdio and Infant Hali had made some commitment to the former Secretary of State of America. And with Blinken visit, it enforced those arrangements. He is committed to opening the embassy of Taiwan in Guyana. And that is American objective. It's no backtracking because the policy has not changed. And if he doesn't do it, bye-bye Infanali and Barjagyo and the PPP once and for all. Have a great day.
Thank you. I'm having what I call a wicked thought in relation to this discussion. But let the calls come, let the calls and voice notes come. And let's talk, man. Let's talk. You know, one of the things I ask is the PPP likely to change course to be on the quote-unquote good books of the U.S. government, the current U.S. government, so that they can remain in office? Is it worth creating bad relations with China, Russia, Brazil, India? Remember, India's mother India to the majority of folks in the PPP government. Do you believe that they would rather solid a relationship with India to be in the good books of the US? India in itself is a world power, right? And remember, not so long ago, Ali went to India and I think they signed what they call some military defense arrangements. Remember that, right? That was in the news. So we see that the PPP, no doubt, is has over the years been reaching out and strengthening its relationships with Mother India for them. Are they likely to give up on those relationships to appease the situation with the US? Knowing that to hold on to BRICS and so on is likely to anger the US and perhaps suffer from the same regime change that they benefited from. Call it live. Good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki, and listeners, viewers. Good morning. Good morning to you guys. For the past 10 years or so, the world was being quiet. There wasn't no war really around the place. But this Brexit, this BRICS organization, I think talk about coming in the next 10 years. Because if I could remember, I heard a clip where Blinken, I think when he was in Trinidad, he was talking about regime change in Cuba and saying that if the people in Cuba this and the you don't know about nothing about no people in Cuba is what America gonna send in the CIA to infiltrate to get regime change. So the people that not gonna wanna comply with America to continue using the US currency and those who gonna try to move over to BRICS, you gotta watch yourself. Regime change. America gonna pressure and put the regime change in those countries. So for the next 10 years, we gotta watch and see. Things are gonna be looking. It will be nice. It won't be nice. This big thing, it will be a little problem in the next 10 years. That's how I see it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for calling. Why do you believe all things are settled by? I'm going to use the word here loosely. War. Do you believe the USA is willing to go to war, whether economic or physical warfare, in order to get the Guyanese government, the PPP-led Guyanese government, to toe the line? I'm just asking. How do you see that? Somebody said for the want of power, the PPP is not likely to anger the US. But aren't the Chinese as powerful as the US? Is the Indian government not capable enough of propping up the PPP government should they come under pressure? Does Ghana really need the US? Or I should say, does the PPP really need the US to stay in power? And the other question is, if the US is saying that they can't work with the PPP and therefore they rather work with Aubrey Norton, are they hoping to achieve a change in government through regime change again? And if that is the case, what do you think Aubrey Norton will be expected to give to the US?
Good morning, Kadaki listeners. Good topic this morning. I think the US has come to realize that PPP playing a Dutch axe role when it comes to global politics. That's why you see they come down. They talk about Haiti is a distraction. Maybe it's not that they really come about. Don't forget the saying, you're either with me or you're against me.
A Dutch axe, according to some people, cut from all sides, right? So the PPP is cutting from all sides. It's cutting from the BRICS side and the G7 side. It's cutting from communism and democracy or socialism, whatever. I don't know if those terms are still applicable to governments and so on. But the thing is, are you comfortable? Let me ask you this question. Are you comfortable knowing that your government is there only because it is willing to play to the theater of the US? Are you comfortable knowing that your government is there only because it is willing to do the biddings of the US when it comes to world affairs? And with that in mind, is your government really there to serve you or to serve the interests of the US? What are your thoughts on that? Let's talk. The last remain home 6225933 is the number to call. Like I said, I'll take this morning is a different approach. Good. I can tell you, the PPP is really, really worried about this meeting with Aubrey Norton and Blinken, because, like we all know, they weren't aware of it, and right now, they're heaping coals, if I can say that, on the head. Excuse me, on the head of the person who was expected to tell them about it. Right? So, They're heaping coals on the head of the person who was supposed to gather the intelligence so that the PPP would have had prior knowledge on the meeting, and so that the PPP will get information as to what was discussed at the meeting. And so with that information now available to us, I'm sure many of you can appreciate the importance of the meeting and the importance of Aubrey Norton choosing to go to the meeting alone, or the importance of the US asking that Aubrey Norton alone goes to the meeting, because then there are only 2 or 3 persons in the room, and so breach of the discussion would have to naturally come from Aubrey Norton or Blinken, or if there was a third person in the embassy, a third person in the person of the ambassador was present in that room, right?
Alright, Kadaki, to follow up on your question, why do we think America only use war to settle the business? Brother, it's history. Look back at history. That's the only way America go about resolving the problems. Most times, that's how they go about, because they got a stockpile of ammunition and artilleries.
Call over the line, please. Let's continue. Complete this voice note.
That gonna soon be out of date, and they're gonna want the latest technology. You see now, artificial intelligence coming and all these kind of things going on. They got to. America is one of the latest. They just want to have the latest weapon, the high-tech weapons and this kind of stuff. So what they got stockpiled, they got to use them out, and they're not gonna just throw them away or recycle them just like that. They're gonna use them for regime change. Those countries that not gonna listen and comply with what America want, regime change coming. Trust me. Let's wait and see. The next 10 years at least. Let's wait and see.
And so are you suggesting that you will see changes in places like Brazil and Russia and India and China and South Africa? Are they going to remove the heads of government, like it is alleged they remove people like Gaddafi because they wanted similar arrangements to these? Caller Live, good morning.
Good morning to one and all. I would like to comment about 2 things that we talked about this morning. First is this BRICS situation here. We have to be careful because, of course, there's a world order here, right? We have to be careful because we have to remember that we don't have much difference in regards to defending ourselves from rogue nations, right? And we've seen countries with a lot of wealth, especially oil wealth, being taken advantage of by other countries, neighboring countries. Let's say, for instance, the Kuwait with the Iraq situation back then. So we need to watch who we align ourselves with, because if we're gonna join this new order that they try to create, meaning moving away from the U.S. domination. Right? We got to be careful with it because many countries want to do that, rightfully so, because America really don't treat people fairly because they only look after their own interests and then the other countries' interests. We all understand that, but they have been dominated for the longest while, and financially and militarily they're the top. So let's say, for instance, someone wants to walk in on us and take away some of our wealth, some other country I'm talking about, right? Who's going to help us? Who's going to defend us, right? These BRICS countries, I'm not sure about that. So they're not tested. We've seen.
Paula, in the same line of this discourse, let me ask you this: why not India? Why not Brazil? Brazil has one of the largest militaries in the world. India is a military. I don't necessarily want to say superpower, but
Yes, I'm going to say why not?
uh,
Because why not? Because these countries they're not proven to have defended other countries, right? The sovereignty of other countries. They haven't done that. We see look at India and Pakistan. They're all nuclear powerhouses, and they've been pointing the weapons at each other for the longest while. And the only country that have stopped them from doing so, from touching the red button, is the U.S. I'm not preaching it for the U.S. right? But I'm just saying here that the situation here is that at least the U.S. is in control right now, and we haven't seen anarchy in many countries as yet, right? So why should we try to fix something that is not broken? So I don't trust this country. Brazil, look what has been happening in Venezuela and the Latin American countries. As Brazil tried to help those countries, no, they haven't. So these countries these BRICS countries, they're not proven to be defending the neighbors and their partners. South Africa is the same thing. Look what's going on in other parts of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. Are we seeing South Africa sending troops to help these people out? No. So the point is, you got to watch who you align yourself with. You can't just align yourself with people, a whole bunch of people who say, okay, we're going to start a new world order here, and let's talk about defense, and they're not doing anything for defense, right? So that is my cry in regards to that. We have to watch who we align ourselves with, and because we don't have a strong military, as a matter of fact, we have zero military defense. We just can't jump at anybody, because if something happens, God forbid something happens, there's no one to help us. So that's my first thing I want to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about is patriotism. I passed at recently, as yesterday, there was a Guyana Day in New Jersey, and I passed out there, and where it was held is like about 35 minutes away from New York, from Queens, New York. Right? So and the only people I've seen, Guyana is known to be a country of diverse races. 6 different races, and for some reason when you go out there, the only black people you see, you think you might be in Africa or you might be in the Caribbean, something like that. What is wrong with all the other Indian people that lives in Queens, New York, and even Portuguese people, right? That call themselves Guyanese whenever it's something for them to get. The situation that is either there's land or it's business or something, so some other opportunity for them to get something, they don't ever show up. But it's Guyana Day, the only people that show up is black people. How come that's what I'm talking about? So what I'm saying is that everybody's supposed to be as Guyanese. Everybody should be proud to be Guyanese. It's a Guyana Day. But there were no other race, even though Guyana is a country of 6 races, but African people. That's my time. Thank you.
thank you for your time. And so the line remains open. 6225933 is the number to call. Why are we afraid of new? Right? The common thread running through this discussion is that perhaps BRICS is a new economic bloc, a new regime. Why do we have to be afraid of new? Look at these people who form BRICS, who are involved, who are in that union. They are all economic powerhouses and military powerhouses. So why not join them, Guyana? Call it live. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Now, remember, I think it was last year, when the woman said that she was doing a sanitary napkin drive to be issuing sanitary napkins to little girls. And persons, I think, I can't remember quite clearly, and I don't want us to get in problem, but I think 2 male figureheads who are supposed to be ministers in the fraudulent regime were donating sanitary napkins, something that is very private, to little girls, right? Now, I spoke about it because I felt that there is something to be between the children and the parents. And in most cases, the particular sanitary napkin issue would be between a mother and a daughter. Anyway, people saw that as an assistance to girls and things and so. You see now how far that has gone to, where this man, he is wrong, took it upon himself, well, I can't give you pads and I can't give you any other thing. Now coming back to the meeting with the leader Norton and this man Blinken. This man at least tried to show that they acknowledge the opposition. And after seeing what is going on with the Africans in Guyana, knew that he had to make contact with the leader of the opposition, who is representing mainly the Africans in Guyana. And with that move that the leader made in going to meet with them and didn't let anybody know, to me he is right. Now they are claiming that the meeting didn't last long. You see, when you got education, you don't have to take hours to say, please do this to me. You come blam, you deliver. So Norton had to spend 3 hours out of the 4 hours allotted to Guyana to get his points over to Blinken. Now there is talk that they didn't have the main call talking the news, the man, and I give them credit not to have him on that press conference. Because every time he goes on a press conference and Leader Norton is there, he tries to belittle Norton in all way possible. Why he ain't talking to this body and he goes through the red tape to degrade and demean Norton in all way possible. But what he did not know, that the outer world was paying, putting in a listening ear and minding our business through the satellites without even them they knowing. So when it came time for such an important meeting, the outer world knew of his behavior and his disrespectful attitude. Decide, you know what? We don't want this person, we don't want the person, we don't want the other person. Well, we know Travis want to get caught because Travis does destroy them. So when these people continue to use the agenda to destroy prominent people, they must remember that with all we may say, America in business with Guyana, America got all the Guyana files, and America and the outer world will know how to tread on things that we may think insignificant, but to them it is of great significance. Now the last thing with the girl and this problem, plenty people are claiming that the matter is finished, buried and everything. That isn't so. Lastly, can you remember when the two shows came and they had some kind of conference, and the way how the two shows were being treated, locked away, they couldn't make contact? This phone story and this incident that had started with a fire and ended up where it is now was something that was ongoing. And this thing had to be in the public domain. That when the two shows came down for that conference, probably that was something they would have let out to let people know what is going on in the hinterland. So hence they were trying to not have these people meet with anybody other than them. All those points are points that should be examined clearly to see how far down the trail was this type of abuse meted out to the indigenous people, and they were completely suppressed with trying to let the world know of their suffrage under the installed regime. Hence, when they first got to the incident of the fire, you heard nothing about the phone. And as soon as they got up there, they started to spread the narrative of the phone. Because this same thing that has come to light has originated from a phone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call, Rondo. Rondo, you need to come see me, girl. I told you that already. Voice note.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. When Pompeo went to Guyana, he did not meet with the opposition, and that was very bad. But you see the way America works, when they have the plan in place, they go about and do what they have to do. So I am glad that Mr. Blinken met with Mr. Norton, and the government of Guyana did not know anything. And from what I'm hearing from Gardley Mosley, Mr. Norton laid out everything. So if America didn't know what's going on in Guyana, they hear it from the horse's mouth and they hear it from Mr. Norton. And I believe there would be changes. So the installed government of Guyana have to make some changes. If not, they will see the back of the Guyanese people. They would have to move from government because what they're doing is not nice. So once again, I am glad Mr. Blinken meet with Mr. Norton, and Mr. Norton also give him a dossier, and so they will know everything that is going on. It is out there now. There is no more hiding.
Good morning.
There's no hiding. There's no hiding.
Sometimes I behave rudely, not because I'm a rude person, but because I know people understand what they're supposed to do. Call it your life. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, call it your life.
Yes, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters. Everybody talking. Hello? Can you hear me?
Caller, you need to stop listening to the program and listen to the phone conversation.
Okay, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters. Let us start focus on this man that come to Guyana and focus and start preparing for the next election. To the end of the day, it is politics with the American concern. And the opposition leader in control of the oil. In America, it is always said, money talk and BS walk. We're not focusing on the next election. I ain't hear nobody talking nothing about this next election, what they're going to do, and how they plan to overthrow this government by moving them out of office. This man came here to take care of the American interests. That's all he came for. And Mr. Abinat is supposed to let the citizens them know, especially black people, what the meeting all about. Because when Biden and all them go anywhere, when they come back, they just let them citizens know what the meeting about, what was taught, what was promised, what was sent for. That is what I would hold the Guyana government of. They must tell us what happened behind closed doors. Move on. Up to now, I must bring up this story here. Up to now, the black family on East Coast, they had to get away. And nobody represent that girl up to now. But we find it time to protest every day down Georgetown. But we cannot find time now for one protest for that family, forget a taxi man out of the street with charge and go to jail for rape that little girl. She was what, 16, 17 too? What's wrong with we people? Why we all always taking care of other people and leave our people business too? But I'm saying one thing in history. We must not get involved in other people's business and don't let people get involved in our business. That is our problem with our black leaders today. We always focus on others and don't focus on us. That makes we got a punishment. And this nonsense must stop in Guyana. And I'm always saying one brooms that I do hope she will go and find or call you and ask you the information for that black sister who killed herself, will get raped, for go and read the family and get more of the details and fight for that taxi man go to jail and be charged. She killed herself because there was no justice for her at the police. She walked and go there with pain and lace come out. She did not write a letter nowhere. It is time for black people to try to own cap in Guyana and stop this nonsense, running here. And the gentleman said, Guyana is 6 ways. Why only one way must always fight for anything and fight for them? It is a slap what the girl did and what the parents did. I said, I can't no figure. Maybe $50 million payout. Because there's no way, if she goes so far, she should know how black people out in the street fighting for her. And there's no way she should have been. Because she bent and she put a slap in back. And I very annoyed of it. She should never been. And the parents. But I'm waiting to see if Simone Booms gonna take the same crowd and go up on the East Coast and fight for that girl. Let the family get, because the family vote for Simone Booms become minister, and it's time for you to do something back. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your call. Call before you leave. Do you believe that the U.S. interest can be Guyanese interest also?
No. Speaking the truth, no. No.
Why not?
Sierra said one thing. Ever Sierra said, when she went to Texas and said, we did it. Check back your video.
But caller, Sierra Lynch's ambassador that was in place under a different regime. As far as I know, and we are all aware that the current American government has made moves to find a replacement ambassador. It was this woman who was at Haiti. I don't know if she has been confirmed. Some people say she has been confirmed, but she has not yet taken hold of the office. So let's say Sarah out of the picture. Do you believe that the U.S. interest could be Guyana's interest?
Speaking the truth, you see, I follow America. The first time I came to America, one day I go to the library and read all day the history of America and government. Don't underrate American government, you know. Don't underrate American government. I have to see something first. Because why they put David Granger out? Because David Granger did one thing, and I respect him for that part. When the same government, the head government, asked him to let their army men come there to destroy Venezuela, they were saying, no, I can't do that. I cannot allow you to come and destroy my neighbor to the end of the day. That's why David Granger was out of office. That is why they put him out of office. Flash Garden said that. That's the reason why. But if he said yes, he will still be in office. We don't want to play the dirty games. We got to make a foundation for our children and grandchildren must live happy and no enemy come and destroy them. When America go in any country, it's for them purpose. Look at Saddam Hussein country, my friend. Look at Africa country. I could name it. It is still wild. My friend says something. My Haiti friend became a law politics too. He said the biggest problem for Haiti is the American government causing that and the French government. He said the American always talk about democracy only towards the little country, Caribbean country. But the big country they said, why the American government, Intel France government, to pay back Haiti all that money, that $1 billion that Haiti have to pay for them independence. You think about that. Why the America Intel France, hey, let the people have a good life now, it's time. He said the American government want to put people there, they could control, and Haiti don't want that. I listen to news too now at the UN. UN said one thing, said sending ammunition and gun to Haiti would not solve it. Let the Haiti people them solve them problem. He's telling American stop doing that then. Let the people them put who they want to put.
Thank you, caller.
Who America sending now again? Somebody who was there can even control that. You believe you come and control that deal? Come on, Mr. Amsterdam. Think again. I got to see something before I say something.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you very much for it.
Caller, you live. Good morning. Caller, you live. Good morning.
Morning. I wasn't able to listen last week, so listen to your replay this morning. You were asking about Haiti problem, right? And CARICOM has to be involved in fixing Haiti problem. If America wants, America could fix Haiti problem tomorrow morning. That's my view. They could fix Haiti's problem tomorrow morning. They know what they've created, and they could fix their problem. You're taking taxpayers' money and sending it up billions of dollars. Get right to your turn. And I need to say that he's going to be a part of the solution for Haiti. He got things to fix at home there. When he was there with Haiti problem, if he wanted to fix Haiti problem, he could have started bringing, Haitians to Guyana, boosting up that visa crap that he started there. Do like what they're doing with the Venezuelans, taking them in to Guyana willy-nilly. So, that's my take. Haiti's problem could be fixed tomorrow by America.
Caller, you there still?
Yes, I'm here.
Everybody is saying that America only has interest in America's interest, especially when they deal with Guyanese.
Exactly.
The question is, can American interest be Guyanese interest?
Can American interest be Guyanese interest? I think so,
You care to expound?
We need to look and see how these people navigate, right? And then we're going to understand why these people are so interested in our thing, right? So we should start being interested in their interests, because one thing I know, their foreign policy remains static, it ain't dynamic, it don't change. And unless we understand their thing, then is when we're going to know how to navigate.
Thank
you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, caller.
All right.
Y'all tell Ram John. I'm surprised the name is not Ram Goat, but it's Ram John, Mohammed Ram John. We're having an intelligent discussion here. We're having a discussion with people who are not intellectually lazy. Right? This is not a discussion for intellectually lazy people. People are just accustomed to sitting behind the keyboard and typing nonsense. Right? Or listening to crap from those at Freedom House who are teaching them or telling them crap. So come again, Ram John. Come, let's have an intelligent discussion. We're talking international policy or foreign policy. I know it impacts Guyana. Caller live, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, good
Kadaki. The question is, if America interest could be Guyana interest. At this moment, is only two portion could be Guyana interest, is either America or China. And the Chinese is no trust. You know who they are, the slick and the sly. The sly and the slick. So they cannot be trusted. You know what America capable of. So you only choice you have to put America, but the only thing you have to stand up to them. You have to let them know what it is doing and what is your rights. You see? They're gonna give you at least who we got. The aisle we got, we could get more, and they would willing for giving more, but we have to stand with it. If we lay down, they're not gonna give it to me. You see? Situation now, remember, the PPP was installed. And the people remember how they get there. They have to toe the line. If they disrespect the system, they can always come after them. And right now, what the PPP doing is not how the advertising Guyana is not what the Americans want. They don't want to hear no minister raping nobody. They don't want to hear no people crying and saying the government and give it. They don't need that. You see? So this is why they went and put a stop into the PPP concerning that was one part, and there too much investment and too much mingling the Chinese have in Guyana, and America don't need. Coming to the G7 and BRICS. The G7 now have a thing called Charindas stepping out to the G7 and say, well, you know what? I got to step over to the BRICS and see what's going on over there. Right? The BRICS is not powerful as the G7. When it comes to America and Israel, them is one of the most two powerful military-wise, intellectual and intelligent artillery that they have. BRICS don't have nothing with them. America is one of the most powerfulest country in the world. Remember, China was nothing the days America built China. Everything that China owns today is what America give to them. They didn't even work for it. America give it to them. You see, all the technology and all those things what America do give it to them. They don't the black people and they give it to the Chinese. And the same Chinese now is who coming back and on them. And I know they when give it to the black people never come back and on them. That's one point. So anytime at all, the G7 and BRICS is not going away. And America don't only have two choices. Is it either America they have to choose, they can't choose the Chinese. Because the Chinese is not to be chosen. The Chinese don't give nobody nothing for free. Anything that the Chinese give to you, trust me, is a trap behind it. And the whole of the Caribbean is really an army Chinese guy right now in the hand trap. Next you know, the Chinese going to hold the whole of the Caribbean. That's all I have to say today, my brother.
Thank you, caller. The projection is, like I said, based on my information, BRICS, the BRICS bloc, if I can call them that, currently controls more than 31% of economic trade. It is projected that by 2030 they're going to be in control of more than 50%. So when we're saying that the BRICS is going nowhere, are we being correct? Is BRICS going nowhere? Or we're likely to find ourselves back in a period of where we call it war or Cold War, like in the 70s and 80s between the US and Russia. Socialism versus communism versus free market versus whatever else. Call it live. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kadaki. Good morning to you and your viewers. I like the topic this morning that we're having. Right? The question that you ask, what is the position of the PPP? And which side they're going to lead on? I guess what is going to happen, the PPP will drag their feet waiting on the results of the coming elections in the United States. If Donald Trump don't win, they definitely have to change their course. Pompidou has no more power because he was nearly charged for fraud. That was the Secretary of State in Trump's government. So they can't deal with Pompidou any longer. They have to now deal with Blinken. And Blinken is going to set the stage that you either with us or you're against us. And if they choose to be with the bloc, with Brazil, and which includes India, which I know they'll be tempted because India's in that bloc, then we're going to have trouble with EXXON. As simple as that. So I don't think they have very much choice of where they will have to be. But they're going to drag their feet now, carrying on discussions with the opposition and saying that trying to change things, awaiting the results of the coming elections in the United States.
Color.
That is my opinion.
Well, you've introduced another important angle from which we are having these discourses, and that is whether or not the Republican or Democrats will win the next U.S. election.
I don't see the Republicans winning the next election. I'll tell you why. My opinion. The decisions that have come down from the justice, the court, have interfered with a lot of people, which the Republicans themselves have given the opportunity of winning the next election, such as standing up against abortion, and there's another one recently came out with the I can't remember exactly, but cutting people off from getting those student loans and whatnot. Now remember, Trump is very popular as the front runner representing the Republican Party in this coming election. And Biden wants him to run against, because Biden don't want to run against a younger person in the Republican Party. So Biden is going to let this flow go, put in pressure on him, let his people support him, and let him be the front runner for the Republican. If he is not, then there's some problems with who would win it. But as long as Trump stays the front runner, Biden is going to win the election.
And is that a good or bad thing for Guyanese?
That's a good thing for Guyanese, because it means that Yabdio has to sit down and talk again.
So the question I'm asking again is, can the U.S. interest be Guyanese interest?
We don't have a very wide scope of choice since we have joined the All Black. Remember that? It's not in the days of Burnham, when we didn't have these American interests and we could say, no, we're going social and we join in with these people. No, we are out in the limelight there. Because until clean air and what's not get going, oil is still going to be number one. And this fight against Russia with Ukraine, which America is backing, has cut off a lot of oil from Russia going into America. So America is looking for where she can get oil from. So you can call us now an American state to be. Just now you're going to see you can travel without a visa to America. Watch and see. Hold on. It's coming around the corner, brother.
Thank you, caller.
Okay. Thank you.
If you see me smiling, it is because I'm thoroughly enjoying this morning's conversations. You might, I don't know if you will figure why, but I'm thoroughly enjoying them. Voice note here.
Hi, good morning, Kadaki. I'm wondering, why is it that Guyanese believe that Blinken doesn't know what is going on?
Call all the line, please.
In Guyana. There's an interest section in the State Department that monitors the news from all over the world and presents the Secretary of State with this information. The Secretary of State coming to Guyana was briefed and probably given a dossier of what is going on in Guyana. He's not traveling like our president empty-headed and empty-handed. He is well informed as to what is going on, but he's going to use what is going on in Guyana as a leverage to gain an advantage on something that the American wants.
Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding.
Yes, a blessed good morning to you, Mr. Amsterdam. Two things. One of the things I like to do is follow these campaign around the world, election campaign. And I'm saying that the interest, I would say yes and no. Yes, in the fact that we have oil and, you know, we can be an asset to them. And no, in the sense that it depends on our makeup, where we are split in the middle. And we have a lot of ethnic voting and all of this. The person who shout the loudest and tell the most lies and could do whatever, they're the ones that they would look at. So you know what we gotta do? We gotta start shouting loud and telling good lies too, because from everything that's going on, God never knows what they went and tell those people. They can like side with them to cause this big regime change in Guyana. And I'm saying that we can take a page from Libya's book, because they have a campaign right now in which they call it rescue mission, where they roll into these communities and like try to get the people mobilized. That is what we gotta do, join with everybody and mobilization, Guyana. And another thing, Miss Adam, you say that you don't want black people, but I think you should look at this Evans Prasad guy that is on the live that is being so disrespectful, even mentioning what Amanza, why he should be tolerated. You need to listen sometime and just get rid of him.
I am stubborn. I was born in the month of July. I'm a Cancer.
Okay.
And I believe in freedom.
Disrespecting black people, black women. Don't tolerate that.
You know, Carter, Irfan Prasad is saying that he likes Amanza and he refers to her being thick and soft.
He likes Amanza thickness.
Man, let me finish the man.
I'm listening.
Because he knows that yourself and others will respond to him.
Okay.
I saw it and it didn't bother me.
Okay, well, it's bothering a lot of people.
Okay.
Because black women it's only sex and they figure everything. They got brains in their head too.
You know, Carter, that's a discussion we can have for another day, because quite frankly,
well, you need to get rid of him temporarily.
Have a good day.
Let's sit down in a car now.
Carter, have a good day. Thank you for your contributions.
You too. Bye.
What y'all think? Should I do a survey? Do you want to get rid of Irfan Prasad? Listen, let me tell y'all this. If I get rid of everybody that disagrees with me on this program, or everybody that poses a challenge, or everybody that is disrespectful in the eyes of some of us, then we'll be preaching to the converted. Don't you want the other set of people who we consider intellectually lazy to get a spark so that they can start to rethink their positions of ignorance? I certainly think Irfan Prasad will get a spark at some point in time. They call it hung up. Some people are just impatient, right? I see a lot of yes. What are you saying, Laurie Semple, Laurie James Semple, Degenerate King and so on? Right? What y'all saying? conversation has become so thick. I mean, maybe because I got Buxton background side, I grew up with tantalize. And I tell you, I think I mentioned it before, I tantalize my children. So nobody can make them uncomfortable in society. They know about tantalize. These nitwits can't move me. Call it live, good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki. Good morning, every other listener on the program. I think I heard your question earlier about if we think Guyana should join the new group that is forming there, the BRICS, you call them, or the BRICS or something.
BRICS.
Brazil, India, and so on. Okay, yeah. My observation is that the PPP, for one, they like power. That's the first thing. They love to stay in that seat of power, especially when money is wheeling around. They're gonna kill their own brother just to stay in power, because money is it for them. That's how their life, is structured on material things first, or even through the knowledge of their gods and their religion is to help them to get wealth, right? And this kind of thing. So they would do anything to hold on to power. But when it comes to the Brits and they join in, let me tell you, I think that Barajak, they for one, don't like to be under anybody. And right now, there's a shadow of America over the government. And he don't like that either. He want to be free to wield his power anyhow he want and do what he want. And so is his cabinet. All right? He more internal, he more external. Right? So I think what they would do, because America could have a big impact about them having power or not, they're going to try to please the American in a way. And that is just because America will having a big impact as whether they would stay into power or they could be put out of power. So they're going to try to please them. But the PPP is very clandestine. So they're going to be doing, remember they want to connect to Mother India. Fair enough, everybody want to connect to the origin, and that's okay. So they're going to be on that side, and clandestinely, I think they're going to be reeling on the other side. So you have to look at them now in a position where they are like the next pig that is going to be sold to the market, because you get fat now. And this side want you, and that man want to pay more money for you, and so on. So you become you become the talk of the day. So they're in a tight spot right now concerning that, because they have to make a decision, and they want to make their own decision. With America, they have to make a decision, and with the other team, they want to make their decision. So they are going to, I know them, if I know them good, they're going to do the hand-to-hand business on the other side, and they're going to try to put on the propaganda news, oh, we're doing this in America, and that's what they're going to do. And that's what they're going to do. So, another thing, the government right now, they ain't interested in Haiti at all. It is black people. Let me come down to that place there. They don't interested in helping Haiti for nothing. It's only because America spending money somewhere else on war. So they don't want to be spending money in Haiti now. They come to CARICOM and put CARICOM for spend CARICOM money for fix the Haiti problem. And because Guyana look like the big brother right now, because they're boasting how much money they getting from the island and so on. They, like I say, you become the pig again for the market, so you got to lead the way. But they don't want to spend no kind of money on it, these black people, trust me. And that is the fact that we come down. I'm not racist, but this is how there are racist people in the government there. And they don't change. And that's how they are. And they don't want to do that. Now, another thing I want to talk about. I heard somebody say earlier that, oh, Mr. Norton should come out and tell the public what he talk with Blinken and all that. No! How many meetings the PPP government get with American head of state the last time and this time? They telling the public anything what they're doing? They come and they get press conference, they're talking about Haiti and about carbon credits in Guyana. They ain't talking integrity story. They ain't talking about justice. They ain't talking about those other things. Eh? Why should Norton come out and tell the public what he and Blinken talk about? Man, that's foolishness. I said no. I said no. Because the PPP listen to you and they gain knowledge off of these same channels. Because they don't even know what happened in certain areas until when they listen to these channels, they know that this happened. Oh, let's go in there tomorrow and show the people that we ain't not that and blah, blah, blah. And that is how they work. So why should you tell them your story? Let them find out for themselves. And the last thing is they don't have no foreign policy. They don't have none. So if Norton is going to come out and talk about his foreign policy, and so then you're going to see Lily chip in with something from a book and put it down. They don't have nothing but foreign policy. All they have in their mind is making money. Making money. And that's what I want to say. Good morning. Thank you,
caller. Let me inform you that even as we speak on this morning's topic, there are two representatives of the South African government that are in Guyana quietly negotiating with the PPP government. Did you hear me clearly? The PPP government has been holding meetings quietly with two representatives of the South African government in relations to joining BRICS. Good. Just so you know, say you heard it first on Kams TV, Guyanese Morning Time. And let me also give you first. Well, the PPP is currently displeased with your boy Watts. You know Watts is the head of intelligence, special whatever they call him. And so he failed to get the information on the Norton Blinken visit ahead of time and after time. He failed to provide the PPP with any information, and so the PPP is tremendously angry at him. And so maybe we'll see just another doormat being flung out of the door. Soon enough. 6225933 is the number to call. You are in tune to the Guyanese Morning Time. It is 4 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. So let's make this 4 minutes count. Let's make this 4 minutes count. Caller, you live. Good morning.
Kadaki, you just hit the hammer on the right nail. You see the two African heads of state that meeting with Barajagil. Don't let people tell you guys that Haiti, Americans would do Haiti. The same thing with these two doing is the same thing. Underhand doings is we make the president cause his death. It's not America killed him. It's his own people, and that will be always black people's problem. They're always trying to think that they can outsmart somebody. At the end of the day, they can outsmart their own self. Next thing with Blinken. Persons got to realize Blinken is a diplomat and also a aristocrat. Blinken speaks by his fist. He's a man of few words. He writes a lot. So if Norton come out and say whatever conversation he and Blinken had, Mr. Blinken will be mad. He will be disappointed because he's a man keeps everything to himself. He do his talking by his fist. And you keep up the good work. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, caller.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, caller.
Hi, good morning, Kadaki. I'm wondering why is it that Guyanese believe that Blinken doesn't know what is going on in Guyana? There's an intersection in the state.
Yeah, so we played that one already. I'm of the firm belief, listen, America's interest can be Guyanese interest also. Right? It depends on which American government you're dealing with. When you look at the Republicans, Trump and so on, they installed the PPP. They expected X on the PPP in return for coverage. And so the PPP agreed perhaps to give them X and get coverage, and so the PPP has been doing as it likes. But if you were to turn, for example, and the Democrats exert pressure on the PPP government, I'm sure that the Democrats will get what they want out of it, and Guyanese can get what they want out of it too. Is it possible that the Democrats can get access to the resources, as in the oil, etc., that they want to get access to, according to some people, and still insist on good governance in Guyana? I believe so. So when we know that the U.S. only has interests, it doesn't have friends, and it looks out for its own interests, for the greater part, I also believe that it's possible that it can play that quote-unquote big brotherly role and ensure good governance in Guyana. But like I say, we have to watch and see. But most importantly, the most important element, as Gray just said, the most important interlocutor in this whole issue here has to be the Guyanese citizens. What Guyanese are prepared to do in defense of their democracy and in defense of good governance is what will make the difference at the end of the day. Call it live, good morning. Final call for the day. Call it live, final call for the day.
Oh, yes, good morning to the viewers. I want to bring something to your attention. I've noticed we're getting like a double feedback on your program. I think you need to double check, because you're getting 2 views of your program. I think something is wrong. Your program has been sabotaged because there are 2 viewings, 2 separate viewings.
No, caller. I'm using multiple platforms. That's why you have 2 YouTube feed, for example, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and somehow both of them, with your viewership, is very low.
Well, when you add the 2, you're going to get a substantial number. Yes, but I understand what's happening. I perhaps can work on changing that, but it is working for me, quite frankly. But we'll see. You just choose one. It's the same information you'll get from it.
The same information, but it's a bit way back, and I noticed it's censoring what you post. That was never the case.
All right, I'll look at it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I did say it's the final call, Call it live.
I know you said it was the last. Just give me this opportunity. I wanted to discuss this with you. Yes, just give me this opportunity to discuss this one and put it out there for thought. Now, what can we benefit from being with America against Venezuela? And I think this is the way that Granger should have gone. Because when the proposal put to Granger from the Trump government that they wanted to use Guyana as a moving off point to invade Venezuela, and he denied them that, what he should have done was say, yes, I got problems with Venezuela. Come set up your base. Develop an American base. Take Venezuela off our back. You set up your base. Take Venezuela off our back. Right? 2 things it was done to. It was stop the drug trade. It was a stop the drug trade. It was a weaken the PPP supporters. with the smuggling, and we would have been another satellite of America. And Granger failed to think that way. Right? Now, if we're going to deal with America again now under the different administration or government, I think we should entertain that. Because Norton or whoever be president don't want the set of Venezuela on their backs. Let them come in and set up a military base. The days of thinking that you don't want to attack your neighbors and that is gone.
Caller.
Yes.
For the interest of this conversation, first and foremost, you know when the Americans are moving and set up a base, they don't ever leave, right? That's number one. Number two, it could not have been as simple as invading Venezuela, because any country that has a neighbor that has been invaded runs the risk of destabilization itself, because those people will flee from the neighboring country that has been invaded to your relatively peaceful country, right? That's one. And two, now I would dare say that let's assume, as you're saying, perhaps Norton is having discussions with the current administration of the U.S. It might not be so bad in terms of Guyana-Venezuela relations, because the fact is the U.S. under this current administration has no interest in invading Venezuela, as you would see. What they're working on, as far as I'm aware, is returning some degree of stability to the Venezuelan situation, right? And so we were talking to different era. One is a proposal for invasion of a neighboring country, which Granger, it is argued, rightly said, in my mind, rightly said that, you know, I will not be part of that. And the other is we're talking about relationship with a government that has no interest in invading a neighbor.
No, but don't forget that every time Venezuela has a general election, they always relive and bring up their interest that 2/3 of Guyana belongs to them.
And by now we should recognize as an electoral gimmick.
Exploration of oil years ago, but Venezuela kept us from doing it.
Thank you, caller.
And I think
you're there still. Go ahead.
That we should show military strength. Right.
Thank you. You know, what a lot of us fail to realize sometimes is that sometimes it's a chicken and egg situation. Right? It's a chicken and egg situation. Granger back then resisted the approach of the U.S., the Donald Trump Pompeo government, and I think it's now open news that, because I think I certainly heard a news item where Donald Trump said basically his intention was to invade Venezuela. You know, how does it serve you as a neighboring country to facilitate the invasion of another country? How does it serve you? Have you looked at the destabilization and so on that will take place? Have you looked at the risk at which you put your very own citizens? Because once your neighbor realizes that you are in bed with the enemy, then you become an enemy too. It's easier to bomb Guyana than it is to bomb the U.S. And so if you're having the U.S. launch a war from your territory, then your territory becomes a part of the war. Times have changed from then to now, because the U.S. policy, it would appear, is not an aggressive one to Venezuela anymore. There is no talk about aggression anymore, but more like peaceful resolution. And so if the Biden administration were to involve in regime change now, would it be a positive move? Would Guyanese be able to benefit from that arrangement, which will result in regime change? Whatever those arrangements are, I don't know what they will be or what they are, or if there is any plan. But at the end of the day, I'm repeating, what becomes of this country, what becomes of relationships with our neighbors and our resources and everything, has a whole lot to do with what Guyanese citizens are prepared to do. Right? I think the caller said if we had allowed the installation of the base here, Guyana would have become a U.S. satellite. Do we want to be a U.S. satellite? Have a good day. Join our clients tonight for Politics 101 and join me tomorrow for another program of Guyanese Morning Time. Do remember that on Wednesday we are having the anniversary celebration with children 12 and under. The party starts at 1 o'clock. Bring them out. It's likely to be, I'm thinking in my head, it's like a day at the movies. They'll get to look at a movie. They'll also get to have some fun in the mini fun park, jump on the trampoline and stuff like that. And, there is going to be the concessions. You go, you get your hot dog, you get your ice cream, you got your cupcakes, sweets and stuff like that. Bring them out, let them have a good time, man. Let our children be children. I remember the days when I used to go to matinee. Matinee was a 12:30 show. Saturday matinee. Saturday, Sunday matinee. Y'all remember that? Anyhow, y'all have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow. And let the good times roll. Be good. Be good. Have a good one. Goodbye.